In life, very often we meet people who, when they meet you for the first time, they leave an impression, they leave a mark, and it becomes a motivation for your life. Well, today in the Fundmaster Studio, I would like to welcome our very esteemed Hall of Fame top woman entrepreneur, top agent, and whatever names I can put in terms of top number one position. I would like to welcome Leila MacDonald, who has been the queen of real estate in New Zealand market, and she's ruled Remuera and the neighboring suburbs like a queen in the last 44 years. So I would like to welcome Leila MacDonald to our show. Well, Leila, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. That's great. I'll start from the beginning. I started real estate. Yeah. We lived in Remuera before in the Hill Park, and we had 3 young children. And I waited until the children were old enough so I could leave them to go to work. Yeah. So I decided I wanted an antique shop. So I worked really hard to get an antique shop, and I found one in Manukau Road in the Leila Cinema. So I had that for 10 years. Then I decided I want to change now. And I didn't want to work for anybody else. I didn't want to work by the hour to anybody else. The closest to having your own business was real estate. So I wanted to start with a family company. And so it was either Barfoot and Thompson or Keys and Neil. Keys and Neil was a small office, a small family, so I decided to go there. So I started there on a Monday, and I sold 5 houses that week. But we didn't have computers. It was all by cards. You flick the card, yes. And that's how you look at the properties that's on the market. But things now change a lot. So Keys and Neil, they sold part of their business to somebody else, and it didn't work, so they closed the office. So then I said, I'll come to Barfoot and Thompson. So Chris Barfoot, he's one of the directors. He was running Remuera office. So I rang him up and went and saw him. He put me through a real deep grill. So anyhow, he said, okay, you could start on Monday. So I started with them, and it was, again, like flipping the cards and things like this. So I was their top agent for Barfoot and Thompson, the whole company, for about 13 years or something, and for the Remuera Eastern Suburbs for about 25 years. It was great. I think the most important, I feel, is it's my own business. I have to run it right. And the only way you could run a business right is by looking after your customers and reporting to them, giving them reports every week, and keeping in touch with them. So I thought that was really quite, very, very important. And I never promised anything that I couldn't do. And if I heard something that I'm not happy with or something, I need to check it and make sure the thing is right. Because you got to look after the purchaser too, but the vendor paying the commission. So I need to look after both of them. And what I found is sometimes I dealt with other agents, and they talk a lot. They don't stop. Let's say we go to do a listing or something, and the agent talk yak the whole time. So, but they need really to stop and listen, and I'm sitting there watching them. So in the end, I said, can we stop now? So I said to the vendor, have you got any questions? He said, yes, when I have a chance. So we all had a laugh. So that was okay. And then after that, I took over and said, we do this, we do that, we do that. Are you happy with that? Went around the house. I need to change that. I need to change that. I need to move this here, just to give them an idea what they should do, what they shouldn't do. And you become like an advisor on top of selling their house. Sometimes I feel like telling them you need to declutter a lot. Sometimes you need a bit more in the house. And they listen, because you're the advisor and they're listening to you. And then, you got a major responsibility there. So I quite like that. And I love putting people together, like if the day I say to myself, oh, I have to go to work today, I'll stop real estate. It's Like it's real precious, and I love doing it. And if I stop loving it, it's not going to work. And it's a really 7-day job. You know, you don't have, you don't say I'm having Thursday or Friday or Saturday off or anything. It's a 7-day job. So you got the open homes on Saturday, Sunday. You got to ring everybody. You got to report to the vendor. You got to do all that. So it's really more than 7-day job. And I love it. I just love make sure people happy, or to be with me, working with me. And if I made a mistake or something like that, I'll just say sorry. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. It's better to, if I haven't done anything wrong, I'll admit it. But if I have, I'll say sorry. Like sometimes you forget to ring somebody. Ring them up and say, look, I'm sorry, I promised to ring and I didn't. And they're very happy with that. But as long as you communicate and being honest with them, communication is very, very important.
So Leila, 44 years of real estate.
Yeah.
And obviously, you came in, you worked in Remuera, you had your kids. When you moved in, nobody knew who
Nobody
you were.
knew, no.
Right?
When I started real estate with Gladden, Keys and Neil, I decided I'll go to the streets that I like to work with. I knocked on doors. And if the people answered, that's fine. I introduce who I am. I give them a card and tell them I'll come and see you again. If whenever you feel like you wanting to talk, you decide to sell your house. If there is no one there, I leave a card in the letterbox to say, can you please give me a call? And if they don't give me a call, I'll go knock on the door towards the evening when everybody's home. I did that for quite a few months. I think the first house I sold was the day I started with Gladden, Keys and Neil. And this guy rang up, and I was looking through those cards, and he said to me, he kept saying to me what he wanted. And I said, I think I might have the house for you, because I was just looking at it. So I took him to Arne Crescent, and I made the appointment with the vendor, took him there, came out. But Merv Neil said to me, don't you ever fill up an agreement or a listing. I need to be there. I said, that's fine, no problem. He gave me everything, but I wasn't allowed to use it. So anyhow, we went outside, and I said to him, do you like it? And he said, yeah. I said, you want to make an offer? Oh, yeah. I said, how much? So he told me, I think it's about $5,000 less or something. So he filled it up. I said, I can't do it. You have to do it. So he filled it up, signed it. I said, you wait here. I'll go to the vendors. I went into the vendors. I got an offer, cash unconditional. We want the full price. I said, okay, change it, put your full price and initial it and sign it. So they did. So I came out, and I said to him, you have to pay the full price. That's what they want. So he initialed it. I said, okay, now I need a check for a deposit, because checks were then.
Yes.
Okay. So he takes his checkbook, gives me a deposit. And I went in, I said, I've sold it. It's sold. She said, what? I said, it's sold. But how can you? I said, well, you've signed full price, cash unconditional. He paid the deposit, and that's how it's sold. Oh, thank you. I think they were in shock, really, that it sold so quickly. So I go to the office. I said to Merv Neil, there is agreement. I've sold it. And he went ballistic, starting shouting at me, I told you not to touch it. I told you not to touch the agreement. I said, I didn't. He did it all himself. Man took off.
So basically, with this experience, when you sold your first house, sometimes, on that day, when you were told not to touch anything, but you did do a good job and sell the property, how is it taken later on in the office?
Okay. I've sold 5, I think, that week. Like every day.
First week?
Yeah, in that week, I think I sold 5. I think he trusted me after that, because I sat with him and went through everything. what I should do, what I shouldn't do, if there's going to be conditions, if there's going to be that. I went through all that with them. I said, if I get stuck, I'll just ring you, and you could come and help me. Oh, okay. Then we became really quite good friends. We used to go out to dinner together, and all that was really nice. They were a lovely company to work for. They both did now. And then I moved to Barfoot and Thompson. I think you need to give, what I find with some people, you need to give them space, you need to give them break. You can't just push them. Like if I want that listing desperately, like for one of them, for instance, I worked for a year to get that listing, and people still talk about that sale even till this day, which was in the before I came to Barfoot, 10 years before that. They still talk about that sale, that auction, and I had to give them space. So I went to the UK for a while, and then I kept ringing them from there to keep in touch with them. The two sisters, I think they wanted another person to do it, but the son wanted me to do it, so I kept in touch with them the whole year. When I came back, they decided it's either Barfoot and Thompson or Gladden-Keys and Neil. So the son rang me up and said, Leila, can you come and see us with your managers? I said, yeah. So I said, when? He said, anytime you can. I said, we'll come today, if it's okay with you. So we met them with them at the house. And I could tell the girls wanted space. I said to them, look, we've had a long talk for the last 3/4 hours, so why don't Merv and Dick and I go out to the garden, have a chat in the garden, and when you're ready, we could come back. When you're ready to talk to us, we'll come back. Just call us. So they did, came back. He said, you got the listing. And we signed it right there and then. And it was people came, we did a marquee outside. The people came with hats and gloves to the auction and was sold within 4 minutes.
Wow. So basically, from that time,
I never give up. That's the most important. You never, ever give up. You keep chasing, you keep ringing, you keep talking to them.
And if they say no, we're not interested, then?
Pardon?
If the vendor says no,
if they say no,
keen.
You can't. If they say definitely no, I said, is there any reason why? Can I help in another way? Is there something you don't like? Just let me know to see if, what's worrying you. But I think a lot of people, they got so many different friends. There's so many people they know in real estate those days now. But before, no, it wasn't. A few years ago, it wasn't like that. They stick to the person, and that was it.
In terms of, you said communication, honesty, never give up.
No.
What values did you go along with all these years? What are your 4 key values you hung on to?
Yeah. The most important is being as honest as possible with everyone. That's the most honest. Communication is, very important. Yeah. Look after them. And look after your buyers, look after your vendors. Most important, your vendor. And try and find out as much as you can about the property so you know what you're talking about. Like, for instance, I had a property, it wasn't on the market. That just came to my mind. And this guy rang me up and I said, look, I got a property, it's not on the market, but you might like it. So he said, okay, we'll have a look. So we went and had a look at it, and he said to me, he asked me 5 questions, and I didn't know them because I haven't listed it, so I don't know anything. So instead of saying, making some
stuff
stupid, just tell the truth. I said, sorry, I don't know, 5 times. He said, what the hell do you know? I said, to be honest with you, nothing. Like I told you, it's not on the market, it's not listed. I need to find out all that. I've written all the questions you've asked me. I'll find out and come back to you. With that, doing that, he had a lot more respect to me than giving him some load of rubbish.
Yes.
And he brought it.
So what is, this is something which is very, very important. And this is, first of all, it's a very motivational thing that how you have dealt with real estate, starting at the age of 41 and now working across every day, day in, day out. If you have to give, in today's real estate agents, today's people, they are talking about a lot of values. People talk about values, start with the why. There are books written, but the basic of real estate will never change.
No,
Right?
it's very, very. How do you say it?
Because
It's nothing that high that you don't understand it.
Yes.
It's just common sense, listening, and being honest and being professional, and dress up right to go out visiting people. I've seen some people dressed up not very nice to go to list a property, and some of them I wouldn't wear them in the house. And that's then the person you're going to say they don't have the respect for you. It's you got to dress right, you got to act right, and the most important to me that I was being yourself. The most important, don't put a face on, don't pretend you're somebody else, and don't compare with somebody else, just be yourself.
So these are if I have to give some tips to people today, right? A lot of real estate agents today, because it's a very attractive career. It's all about money, big dollars, big cars, and all that stuff you can buy with money. From the time you started real estate till now, have the commissions gone higher or lower in terms of
Higher.
percentage?
Higher.
Higher.
Yeah.
And also, if I have to talk about the Eastern Suburbs and Remuera and all this, what was the property value then and what is now? What is the big difference you've seen?
Well, I remember when my husband was in real estate, the first house he sold was a big one, 30,000. That was a big price.
And that time the interest rate was 22%, isn't it? The bank
I think
interest
so,
rate,
yeah,
22%.
yeah.
And then the prices went up,
Up, yeah.
interest rates went down.
Yeah.
But let's say in that time, the property was $30,000. What was the average income?
I wouldn't have a clue, really.
Okay.
Average income.
What was a real estate agent making a year at that
Oh,
time?
I don't know. I don't even know what I make.
So there's another quality which I've just figured out. For somebody
It's
to be
funny you said
successful,
that because an agent rang me the other day and said to me, Leila, how many houses you've sold and how much money you've made. I said, I never look at that. I haven't got a clue. I don't know.
and that's another very important thing, because sometimes we always, Leila, this is a question which I'll ask you. People say set goals.
No, I don't set goal. My goal to look after the buyer, to look after the vendor, and to look after the buyer, and the money comes after. If I'm starting to count my dollars before I get them, you might as well not do it.
What about, have you ever thought of, I want 100 listings this year, 200? Did you keep a number in your head? I want to be number one every year?
No.
No.
I'm there to help people, to look after people. I don't care if I got one listing or 15 listings. They're all just like one to me. I've got to look after them the same. If you have far too many, you can't look after them. And you can't really do the open homes. You can't report to them the way you should. But before, like a few years ago, like about 20 years ago, yes, we used to have a lot of listings, like 15, 20 listings or something. But we did it okay. And a lot of them, because when you come to the higher bracket, they don't want open homes, so that's fine. So you got to sort them out, so you're looking after every vendor the same. Like you start this one, just before it finishes, you start the next one. So you got at least 4 open homes in the weekend to make sure that you looked after them. But to have more than that, you won't look after them.
So basically, all this about goal setting, have clear goals, look at this, look at that. Your only goal was to look after your vendor.
Yeah, and
your
the money
buyer,
and the money comes after.
and the money comes after.
Yeah.
So it's all about doing the deed right, doing the hard work first.
Yeah, like, with the young ones starting, they want to do real estate, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They have a goal, they want to do so much and all that. But my advice to them is to have some money behind them for at least 6 months and think that they're not going to sell anything, especially those days, for 6 months. If they sold one or two, that's great. But they need to be, if they get pressured, they start making mistakes and they start crossing, doing not the right thing, and they'll get into more trouble. So they need to have some money behind them so they're not pressured about a sale. The minute you get pressured about a sale, you're in trouble.
So anyone who's willing or wanting, a young person who's wanting to join real estate, they should have 6 months of savings, work for it, and then they should go on an assumption they're not going to sell anything, so that they don't make mistakes, and they can work with patience.
And it costs them more money in the end. Yeah, they get.
So in terms of, these awards and number ones and number twos and number threes, and
I don't listen to that.
You don't listen to that. So basically, in terms of having your own clarity is also important. And I want to bring this to, bring your knowledge and your advice to the younger girls, the younger men, the boys in school, some, teenagers, and probably 25, 30, 45, whoever. One important thing you said is never ever give up.
Never ever give up.
In today's time, with social media being so much, TV and TikToks and Snapchats and all these things and distractions, what do you see that how these young men and women can keep their head on their shoulders? And what should they do to keep their life simple and moving? Because you've seen everything from no technology, a lot of paperwork, to all technology.
I think the way I look at it, the more they use the computer, the more they use text. It doesn't work with me. I need to see people face to face. And that's the most important. If they could see you face to face, ring them. If you're dealing with somebody, ring them. Or if you want to go to a special house to have a look, especially when they're young ones, starting, you can't start real estate for, too young. People don't have the same respect, or they think they don't know what they're doing or something like that, especially around this area. Don't use the computer. I never email. We get a PA for doing all that stuff, but I'm face to face. It's better for people to talk to you, people to meet you, and people to sit with you, or people to, instead of sending me the texts, I can't see you today, I'll go and see them. And I'll ring them. I keep ringing them until I get hold of them. And then if I didn't get hold of them, say, sorry, we can't do it today. We have to do it another day. Is that okay with you? Then if they send a text back and say, yes, that's okay. If they didn't, I'll ring them again, or I'll go knock on the door.
So in today's time where people are talking about self-worth, lack of confidence, with a lot of challenges you would have faced as someone with a different descent, as someone who is a woman, as someone who's starting new, as someone who's coming from Remuera to Remuera. What kind of challenges did you face, and how did you overcome them?
When I first started real estate, there was hardly any woman in real estate. Very, very few women in real estate, mostly men. And it was hard, but I don't ever give up. You get knocks, and you get, other good stuff, and you get the knocks, but you got to keep going. You just got to keep at it. If you didn't get anything from the street, start on the next street. Or keep sending letters. But the most important, you can't put letters in a letterbox without, if it hasn't got no junk mail, you can't put it there. So you have to find out who those people are, check their name, find out who they are, and send them a personal letter if you can't get hold of them on the door. So that's the way with young people, that's the way I started.
But in terms of your career overall, from nobody to Leila MacDonald, what were your 3 key elements?
Okay. You got to love the job.
Okay.
You got to love what you're doing. If you don't love it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You got to put all your whole life and soul into it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what knocks you get, you'll get some other better ones too. So you just keep at it. You will get knocks. I did get knocks, but I never gave up. You never, ever give up. You just keep going.
Keep going. And keep going is your mantra. So basically, Leila MacDonald, keep going.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Yeah.
In today's world, people talk about, you must have seen houses where people would have come and said, the feng shui doesn't work, the north facing doesn't work, the east doesn't work. How did you overcome all those challenges as an agent?
I have it on a chattel list. Like let's say I wanted to go and have a look at I took somebody to have a look at a property that I just listed. I've been told about half a dozen things they don't work. You have it on the chattel list, what's working and what's not working. And you have it onto the agreement too. And you tell them when you go to show them the house. That's what I'm trying to be. They got to trust you. Because if you don't tell them, let's say I took those people there and I knew all those things wrong with it, but I want them to get excited about that house, I just tell them nothing. Don't say anything. But the minute they walk into the house, I need to say to them, I need to tell you some things not working here. This one doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. And the rest does. Oh, thank you very much. That's good of you to tell us. But there is no use waiting until they start half-heartedly wanting the property and then throw a stone at them. You don't do that. You tell them from the beginning.
So basically, again, clear communication. Honest, clear communication.
Honest and professional.
Professional.
Yeah.
Okay. Real estate is a sales job and has changed over the years from signboards in those days or paperwork. Now it's all digital marketing, nice photos and videos. How do you feel how does competition challenge you when the younger agents are doing all these videos and stuff?
It doesn't worry me because I don't like it. I just do my own thing. I don't like doing videos like we did one or two or few before videos when we're selling a house or something. I don't feel comfortable. I'm selling the house. I'm not selling myself. So I prefer not to. I prefer to have the music going and talk about, like have our names and phone numbers in the end. I've been asked quite a few times, would you do a video, from our office people? No, I don't like it. I just prefer to look at the house, not look at me and David.
Very good. Because a lot of people want to see themselves in camera first before anything else.
Yeah.
So, in terms of keeping your, self-confidence, self-worth, in terms of, pushing it all the time, what keeps you going, Leila?
Sorry?
What keeps you going?
I love it. I'm not a housewife. I hate housework. So I just like to get out of the house, but I love the job. I love putting people together, like vendors and purchasers. If they're happy, I'm very happy. I go to bed real estate, I wake up real estate. When I stop doing that, I stop working.
And that's passion.
Yeah.
So you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
But, in today's time, we suffer with this problem called depression. People say, I need a break. I need a change. I've done it for too long. How do you overcome that? Did you ever have that kind of a problem?
They need to wake up and get their act together.
But you never faced that?
No.
Did you do holidays with your kids?
We do holidays, yeah.
So how did you find time in such a busy schedule, being number one everywhere?
Because during the holidays, like it's October, like you got the school holidays from towards the end of September to around the 6th of October. So I'm already working on that for now for listings coming up. Say, well, we can't do it in those 2 weeks because of school holidays. And then I don't want to wasting your money. Well, everybody's away. And, things like that. If they still want it, that's fine. But sometimes they are wasting their money. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the majority, a lot of people are away.
So planning well and keeping so do you plan your calendar in advance?
Yeah. Now, what I do, like, let's say we're going to have a look at a property now and say, oh, well, we're not ready to sell it now, but we will be ready in about September, October, November. I say, fine. November, about this middle of November to the 3rd of November, I'll stop. Don't put it on the market because it's getting too close to Christmas. But why don't we skip the school holidays? Labor weekend doesn't bother me. That's fine. But let's skip at least 1 week of the holidays to make sure that we get 1 week with people here, the other week with, if you don't want it, that's fine. But I wouldn't have that 2 weeks advertising because it will be money down the drain.
Wow.
People too busy with their kids, grandpeople too busy with their grandkids. But sometimes we've done it, but I find it really hard to get people there. And then sometimes they ring us up while they're on holiday and say, look, when we get back from the holiday, we would like to look at this house. So when are you coming back? Oh, middle of January, end of January, whatever. I always take a month off in January, from Christmas to the 3rd week of January. I'm off.
So Christmas, 3rd week of January, okay.
Yeah.
So you basically that's your rejuvenate. So what do you do to rejuvenate in your off time? What do you do different that it keeps you going?
Right.
44 years in real estate, what has kept you going?
I love my family. I love my grandkids. I spend a lot of time with them. I love my garden.
So gardening, okay.
Yeah, I love the garden. Yeah.
And family is number one for you?
100%.
And how many kids?
I got 3 children, 2 of them married. One of them, David, got 4 children. Sylvia got 2 kids. She lives in the UK. She got 2 kids that have been there 32 years. David's son getting married in next month, middle of April. And they're all coming back from the UK for the wedding.
And any kids joined you in real estate?
Yeah. No, they don't like it.
So you're the only one?
Yeah. Well, David is.
David is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect. Now I'm going to shift your attention to the market trends. What do you see the property market? How has it changed in last 44 years? Because if you read about Ashley Church and a lot of people, they say that property market doubles every 10 years in Auckland or New Zealand. What do you think about property market? Does it double?
It has, I don't know about doubling, but it goes up a lot. Like, for instance, from what we brought our house for, that was in 1980, September 1980. For an example, that was 90,000. And that was major money, big money for Epsom of Mountain Road. But now the CV is about 6 million something. And we probably, if we ever going to sell it, I don't know if we'll ever will, it won't be below 7.5 to 8 million. So it has gone up major from that.
So what have you seen in the property market trend so far from that time till today? I mean, how many times did you see the property going up and down, and how did it impact you?
Okay. Since the COVID, that changed a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, it's changed majorly, really. It went down a lot. It went up a bit, then went down a lot. But now it's starting to pick up again. And it's been this year is 10 times better, or a lot better than last year. And we're getting a lot of calls, more calls from overseas, like Canada, UK, the USA, Singapore, Australia even when a whole lot of them go in there and some of them come in here.
Yeah, people go there to make money, and they make money come back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So what do you predict that how will this next 12 months be in real estate? Because I know Barfoot starts 1st of April, New Year, right?
Yeah.
So what do you predict for next 12 months?
I think it's going to be quite a bit better than this year. I mean, from the 6 months onward from this year, like say middle of this year,
October.
It's getting better.
Okay. Yeah. And you see that this summer in 2025 leading on to 2026?
Yeah. I'm saying that only because we're getting more calls and more emails from overseas and people, especially expats, wanting to come back.
So the positive market will come again.
Yeah.
We've been through a dip.
Yeah.
Now, in your 44 years of career in real estate, how many dips do you saw, and how long were the dips for?
The longest one was the COVID.
After COVID?
Yeah.
After 2021?
Yeah.
Because I
But
know...
before that, it didn't worry me.
It didn't worry you?
No.
It was
And
growing?
quite a few years before that, like if we get a conditional offer, we'll get a shock. Like, we got conditions in that agreement. Usually cash unconditional, you get 2 or 3 agreements, like we call it multi-offers, but those days are gone. You don't get that.
So now you get a lot of
But then I can
offers.
say that because we just sold 2 properties. One of them we had 3 offers on it, multi-offers. The other one 2, so I can't say that. Each property is different. It depends how hard you worked on it and how you did your best to get there.
Okay. So next 12 months seems to be coming very positive. Lots of calls
100%,
are coming.
yeah.
So real estate will move. When do you think will be the right time for somebody to buy? Now is the right time?
Yeah, because the property is not going to keep... The
Low.
property is not going to come down. They're not going any lower than they are now. If you want to buy property, I've said that to many people, now the time. Don't wait until it gets higher. Because
And in terms of now is the time, and excuse me, I cut you off there. If now is the time to buy the property, Leila, people sometimes get worried about 100,000, 200,000, 50,000, 500,000, starting from Enriva to Remuera, let's say. Should people be worried about under CV, over CV, 50,000 here and there?
I don't take
Or just
any-
strike a bargain and get it done?
yeah, I don't take any notice of the CV. The CV is not a valuation. So some of them really, really high and some of them really, really low. You can't take on them. A lot of people, what's the CV? I said, I don't really care what the CV is. Some of them really high, some of them really low. It doesn't make any sense, the CV to me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is like, you're saying when you should buy and sell. In another way, it doesn't really matter if you're buying and selling on the same time, it's fine. But if you're selling your house now and waiting for the market, you think it might go down or something like that, you're in trouble. Buy and sell on the same market. That's the best.
That's the best. Another question, Leila, and last few now. What will be your top 3 tips for vendors who want to prepare their property to sell? What are the top 3 tips?
One of them, if the house needs quite a bit of work done on it, and they want to do it up, I say no, because whatever they're going to do to it, it's really run down. If they're going to tizzy up, it's not going to get their money back. Just leave it. Just declutter as much as they can, from it. Even if it's empty, will be better than having a whole lot of stuff that people can't see the rooms or anything like that. And pick up the right time to sell.
And how do you pick up the right time to sell?
I don't like June, July, August. They're really wet. We're trying not to put that many, but properties still sell then.
Yeah.
So, but you don't go if you want to put your house on the market now, that's good, that's fine. But if I say to them, no, I'm too busy now, do it in July, August, I'm not being honest with them because I'm too busy now to do it. It doesn't work. But June, July, August usually is very wet. And a lot of the vendors don't like putting it on the market because it is wet. But then on the other hand, some buyers like to buy in winter because they could see what's wrong with the house.
Yes.
So it doesn't really, you could buy and sell anytime in another way.
A lot of young buyers and home buyers nowadays, what advice would you give them when they look into buy a property?
The first home buyers is hard for them. I think they got to be realistic to start with. And I think what they should do, talk to their broker, talk to the real estate agent, and instead of, let's say they're going to pay something like, they could go up to 700,000 or 800,000, but they're looking at areas that they're in the 900 to a million something. They're wasting their time. They can't get there. It's better for them to go to an area they could afford to start with. Talk to their broker, talk to the real estate agent, and be honest with them. Say, that's the money I could buy with. And they will take them to where they could buy. It could be Mount Wellington, it could be Ellerslie, it could be anywhere outside. And those properties are going to go up, they're not going down in price. They're going to go up, especially when they're around the central city. So they could sell that when the market is up, whatever they make on it, then they could go move just step by step. But if they're going to wait until, they're going to buy something for $1 million or something which they can't afford, they're wasting their time because the property is going up quicker than their wage is going up.
Yes.
So just wasting their time.
So basically get into it. If you like something, it's not your first house, make a deal and then pay off the principal, build up the equity, move on.
And when the market better, sell it and then get something better. But to sit and wait, you're wasting your time.
What is property for you? Is it something you buy and hold on for long term for later to grow? Or is it something you just use it like a share market and trade on it and buy and sell?
No, I'm hopeless with that. I've been in my house 45 years, so I'm not a good real estate agent.
So you don't like change?
No, I'm hopeless.
You like
we got a
constant.
6,500 square foot house, 7 bedrooms, and I'm there on my own now for about 17 years. But I hate moving. So I'm not good for real estate.
You are good for you are the top real estate agent in the country, and the top. I say that someone who a lot of people look up to.
Yeah, I think that if you give people ask you for advice. The other thing I was going to say, sometimes you get tested. Like people ask you questions, and you wonder, what's all that question about, and very well, if you're psychology listening and your psychology, they're testing you to see what you're going to say, yes or no or what. And that's when you got to be really honest and answer the right honest question. For instance, a lady that I got to know her really well and her husband, and Mike said to me, Leila, whatever my wife wants, let her buy it. I don't have to look at it. It's fine. So I took her to this property. And she loved it. And she said to me, I'm going to ask my friend to come and have a look at it. I said, why your friend? Why don't you get your husband? Why don't you get Mike? She said, no, my friend, she's good. So she rang the friend. The friend came. Barged past me. No hello, no kiss my foot, nothing. Came out. I hate it. It's horrible. I said, well, have a good day too. I said, I was going to take her and I said, you have a good day too. Left her. A few months later, the wife rings me up and she's in hysterics. And I couldn't understand a word she's saying. And then I heard something, bought it. And I couldn't understand what she's saying. I said, look, I'm on my way. Calm down. I'll get in the car and come see you. So she was in hysterics. So I sat her on the couch, banged her shoulders down, and made her coffee. She said, they bought the house. I said, what house? I've forgotten all about it. The house you showed me. I said, what? I'll kill her. And hear me, I'm trying to help her. I got such a shock. They asked them for a housewarming party. They never went inside. I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow.
And that's where honesty is so
important.
And honesty and professional so important.
Yes. So, and, in today's time, honesty and professionalism is missed, or there's a thin line between manipulation.
Yeah.
You're appearing to be honest, but it becomes manipulation, and manipulation can only go this long. But honesty and truthfulness, what I've learned from this interview today with you is that saying no upfront is better than lingering on.
Yeah.
And rather than just taking somebody's
100%.
Right.
Be honest from the beginning. People trust you more, they respect you more, and they'll ask you to come and help them in anything else they're wanting. But if they don't respect you, if they don't trust you, forget it.
Leila, all these years, you drive, you go everywhere, and when I was dealing with you, how I got so intrigued is that you're still very great in your follow-up, your texts, your calls. What is the role of health? How do you value health in all of this? We talked about money, property, this. What is health for you? And how have you kept yourself healthy? What things do you do?
I think if I did the right thing, if I did it honestly and proper and professional from the beginning, the money will come. But if I'm not doing it, the money won't come. The minute I'm going to count the dollars, that I'm going to earn before I even sign the paper, you've lost it.
What about your health? Being healthy. Do you do anything for keeping your health going?
My
Like,
health.
do you walk?
Oh, my health.
You look after it, or
No,
it's just
no, I don't like walking. I don't like exercises. Well, I walk enough through the work, like you're working from one house and upstairs and downstairs and here and there. So that's my walk.
so basically? And is there anything which you like eating, drinking?
We do a
Food?
lot. We do a lot of Lebanese food,
A lot of Lebanese food.
Mediterranean.
And where can you get the best Lebanese food in Auckland?
There isn't really places, really. I do them myself.
Then we have to come and have a meal with you. So in terms of, today's world, we talk about health, well-being, go out there, go to the gym, do this. But what you've done is you've converted your own profession into everything.
Yeah.
It's your playground, it's your gym, it's your wealth ground, it's your money making. Everything is your job.
Yeah, my garden, my family, my garden, and my job. That's my exercise.
Amazing. And keeping a very positive attitude.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that, oh my God, I mean, negativity, how do you handle so much negativity and tall poppy syndrome, which New Zealand works on, that, oh my God, Leila MacDonald, what has happened? How do you handle all this? Did you ever face tall poppy syndrome?
One or two agents, I said, look, wake up, get going, stop moaning. I said to one lady the other day, stop moaning, get on with it. Yeah, just be positive and get on with life.
Just be positive and get on with life.
Like people half my age, really. I see them sometimes. I had such a hard working day today. I'm so tired. I said, wake up.
So on that note, wake up, because you don't need a lot to be successful. All you need is some very basics, which you've heard today from Leila. Be honest.
Loving everything you're doing. If you don't love it, it won't happen.
Then what should we do? If we stop loving what we do, what should we do? Change our love?
Well, you'll be bored. You'll be bored, sick.
So in today's world, because they say people have short time span and the videos are quick as well, is just that the social media, or are we meant to do it?
I think a lot of people, I see people on the computer, on their phones, the whole time. That's not real estate. That's not work. It doesn't work like that. You got to get out, talk to people. Even if you go to a cafe and sit or walk on the street. Like today, I was walking to go to cross to my car. I parked my car, pay for my car to be parked there. And this lady was waiting on the crossing. Oh, hi, Leila, how are you? I said, good, thank you. And I said to her, I think your sister was selling her apartment, wasn't she? She said, I heard that, I heard that she's selling. And she said to me, oh yeah, but she didn't sell, it didn't sell, so she took it off the market. I said, well, look, I just sold an apartment, and the people who missed out are very, very upset that they missed out. Can I ring your sister and see, if she would put it, sell it again, because I could talk to those people. Oh, okay, I'll talk to her. I said, no, that's my card. Get her to ring me and tell me where her apartment is. So if she didn't ring me tomorrow, I'll go knock on the door.
So basically, there's always an opportunity in a conversation.
Even if you're walking on the street. But sitting in the office, that doesn't make you money. Sitting in the office, it doesn't make you money. It doesn't make you see people. Walking on the street, even, you never know who you meet. Once, a long time ago, there was a section in Victoria Avenue. And I saw this guy walking, and I was having a coffee, and he stopped and he said to me, oh, hi, Leila, how are you? I said, good, thank you. Can I sit with you? I said, yeah, that's fine. So we sat down. He said, look, I've been looking for a section for 6 months. I've been with so many agents, and I can't get a section anywhere. Okay, what you looking for? Oh, something like that. He says, that, and that. What price range? Yeah, that. I said, yeah, I got a section for you. He said, where? Victoria Avenue. He said, what? I said, Victoria Avenue. We could go and have a look at it now. So I took him there and sold it to him. And he's been looking for 6 months with a whole lot of different agents. That section been sitting on them there forever.
So
You got your mind has to be working the whole time.
And what, and this basically makes me think a lot that in today's world, when we have everything available, we have become more lazy, right?
100%.
And the biggest lesson which I've taken from today is that it's all about going on the go, getting things done, and stop being lazy, stop being anyone else letting you take over.
Yeah.
And people focus on others' comments.
Yeah.
Other people, what will they say? How do I look? How do I think?
I don't know what happens in real estate. I haven't got a clue what the agents do, and I'm not interested. I'm interested with myself, my vendor, and my buyer, and that's all I care about.
That's amazing. That is so good, Leila, because this is what we all miss today's time. It's all about being honest, being clear in your communication, loving what you do, and keep going at it. And don't let anything put you down. Sometimes we say, I'm not fit, I'm not healthy. Well, don't keep thinking.
If you go, if people trying to pull you down and you listen to them, you will go down. Just get on with life.
Ignore and move on, because ignorance is a bliss. And in this case, ignorance is a bliss.
Yeah.
And on that note, Leila, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was very inspiring. And I hope a lot of people who would listen to how you speak, how you say, a lot of people will be inspired to just doing basic things. Get off your bum, get moving, get the things done.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Be honest.
Be honest.
Be honest and professional. That's very important.
Be honest and be professional. And that's the most important tip.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say for marketing, Leila? Like, how do you market yourself and your properties? What different do you do?
We got a big sign on Clambourne Road. We got a sign in Victoria Avenue.
Does it work? Or do you
I don't know, but people I'm dealing with a massive company in the USA just now. And one of them rang me up. He said to me, I see you all the time, Leila, in Clambourne Road. I said, oh, yeah. That's fine, thank you.
But that's one of the best signs as well.
Like we sold one that'll be interesting. We sold a house on Market Road, and the lawyer was selling it because the guy died, and the wife, she had to sell anyhow. So anyhow, the lawyer rang me up, and they were looking at 4 different companies, I mean. So she rang me up and she said to me, can we meet with you? And I said, yeah, when would you like to do it? I said, yeah, that's fine. So we met there at the house. And then she had a partner lawyer that they both of them working on it together. She said to him that I've just spoken to Leila and David MacDonald, and I think they're the ones. I just seen their board on the Clambourne Road and all the houses that they've sold, because we did put some once. We change it all the time. It's very expensive, but we change it all the time. So we got the house and we sold it. And we're one of 5 agents were looking at it. So you need your,
name and presence.
Yeah, especially there's new people coming and going all the time, so they don't know who Leila MacDonald is, they don't know who David MacDonald is. So it's good to have your names there. And we have them on different real estate institute, .com and all that stuff. So we do quite a bit of
constant market, being in, present, being on the face, having some signboards and everything is very important.
And even online and things like that, we do quite a bit of that. Yeah.
Have you ever compromised with your time or commission to make someone happy?
We don't like it, but we've done it with somebody. Like somebody really, really need it, we've done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of marketing budgets and stuff, you're very clear on what you want and you get it done.
And sometimes, like we have a budget, we have a calendar, so they know exactly when the house is going to be photographed, when the house is going to be doing this and that, when is the caravan going. We give them a calendar. Everything's happening. When is your open home starting? What's going on the internet? Everything that's going to happen, they have it there in front of them. That will never change. That's all they have to pay for. But then we get the budget, the marketing budget. That's all they're going to have, in the market.
So discipline is also very important. Do you keep discipline in your daily life? Do you eat on certain time? You sleep on certain time? No discipline, but you just keep on going. I think you are one of
Today, I didn't have time. Today, I didn't have breakfast. I didn't have time to have breakfast because they had to be in St. Heliers. So forget the breakfast. I had hot water and lemon, so I took off to St. Heliers. And so I went home and had something to eat about 2 o'clock. Yeah, I had a sandwich at 2 o'clock. I'll have some dinner tonight, probably.
So food doesn't really matter.
Doesn't bother me at all.
So like you just live on your energy all the time. What about wine and food?
No, I don't drink wine either.
Oh my God, I think
I don't drink wine, I don't drink tea, I don't drink coffee.
I think I just want to bring this to a close, but I'll say that Leila MacDonald is someone who has inspired me beyond limit because she's actually challenged every fact we all get taught with.
Yeah.
Start with the why, read this book, read that book, understand this tool, that tool.
Forget that, I don't read.
Discipline. This, you don't read, you don't drink coffee, there's no alcohol, you are disciplined to just go get, you look after being honest with yourself,
Yeah.
and be honest to your people, your vendor, your purchasers, and whatever you do, love what you do. And that's what Leila's success secret is.
That's the most
love what you
important.
do.
Love it. If you don't love it, don't do it.
If you don't love it, don't do it.
Well,
Thank you.
if you don't love it, you're not going to get anywhere.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Leila.
You're welcome.
It's amazing to have you
Great.
on board, and hopefully we'll continue the series. And if anyone, any man, woman, kid, any age generation watches Leila MacDonald, just remember one thing: you are the best you've got. Love what you do,
Yeah.
and get on with your life.
Yeah.
Don't just
And don't let anybody pull you down.
don't let anyone pull you down.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And if you got anybody who wants to do real estate and they want some questions out, just let me know. I've
Any
had-
questions for Leila?
Yeah.
We'll connect you to Leila.
got quite a few to Remuera.